oftentimes making it so you get in the first hit.
Indeed. And as far as that goes with Pikachu, Pikachu has, in this game, uses abilities as well, much like Ruby Sapphire did. Ruby Sapphire started the trend with abilities, where each Pokemon has an ability that aids it in some way. Pikachu's ability is called Static, and if your opponent uses a physical move on Pikachu, one where it actually would, if you were actually watching the battles fully play out, if Pikachu would actually be touched by the other Pokemon, it transfers paralysis due to the nature of Pikachu's fur being electrified. Oh, that's a happy event. Weedle just hit level 7, so we're going to see some fun evolution action here in a minute. I'm not actually going to sit here and go through the painstaking battle of Poison Sting versus Harden. I'll do it a couple of times. Oh, yeah, that's right. Metapod isn't a poison type, is it?
No, Metapod is not a poison type. Later on, when Metapod evolves into Butterfree, it becomes an insect flying type.
That's right.
Which
makes it
Beedrill, Beedrill, I believe, also becomes an insect flying, but it does. You can keep the poison type moves on it, and I believe it can still learn some poison moves as well as Butterfree. I believe Butterfree can learn limited.
Butterfree learns poison powder at least. I know that much.
Yes. But as far as TMs are concerned, I believe you can teach them.
You can probably teach them like Toxic. One of the interesting things about Pokemon is a lot of the moves are commonsensical. Some of them aren't. I will go right out and admit the 1 in 500 chance of starting with the Surfing Pikachu in yellow doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The fact that I could go off on this for a long time, but I'm going to sit here and just tell you right out, the fact that they included a mini game for Surfing Pikachu and made it only a 1 in 500 chance was kind of stupid.
Indeed.
But anyway, here we're going to get some awesome evolution action, so I'll just let you guys watch.
And speaking of moves that do not make sense, Three Penguins and I were discussing earlier where in this game there is a move called Magical Leaf. It is a grass-type move that I can't remember. I believe it has a power of 75, 80, maybe around in there.
It's a pretty strong grass move.
It's a pretty strong grass move. In this game, only one Pokemon will learn it. And I kid you not, that Pokemon is Mr. Mime, a humanoid psychic type. No grass-type Pokemon in this game learn the move. And we don't know why. I've researched this. I actually spent like 2 hours searching for a grass-type Pokemon with that move, because that move, I believe, was introduced in Ruby Sapphire.
That it was.
And they transferred over to this. Why they transferred it over to Leaf Green in the form of Mr. Mime, I have no clue. It may be possible to breed the move to a grass type. I have no clue how that would be done, which Pokemon you have to breed with. I'm pretty sure that an Oddish will not breed with a Mr. Mime. But, you know, it's one of those strange occurrences. Indeed.
I will mention, however, one of the most common Pokemon to have the move of Magical Leaf in Ruby Sapphire was actually Tropius.
Yep.
Tropius, I'm not sure it learned it right off the bat, but Tropius would learn Magical Leaf, and that's the Pokemon I know as having it. I'm not sure. I know the Grass starter does not get it.
Only a few will get that move.
But if I'm not mistaken, Tropius is in both games.
In both Ruby and Sapphire?
Yes.
I believe so as well.
So, it is available in both games there. Speaking of available in both games, this is something I came across earlier and we were looking at. As far as grass Pokemon early in the game go, I've been off screen on my own playing through Pokemon Leaf Green, because I'm playing Fire Red for you guys. I'm playing Leaf Green on my own. And in Leaf Green, one of the first wild grass Pokemon you come across is Bellsprout. Now, Bellsprout starts out with Vine Whip, which is a fairly nice grass move, but it has a problem. It only has 10 power points. As does Leech Seed right now, but we're not going to use either, so we don't really need to matter. But 10 uses of a grass move for early grass Pokemon, even for Bulbasaur, is kind of unfortunate. Doesn't leave you a lot of grass options.
Especially since most of your basic moves will have a power point setting of within the 30s. A lot of them are
20, 30, 35.
30. They'll typically be very high to make up for their lower power, their lower attack power. Which for Vine-Whip, I believe it only has a power of 40, which makes it strange that they would only give it a power point value of 10.
That's right, and we were discussing this, and I've got to double check my facts here because I may be totally talking out my ear. But in Fire Red, one of the early grass Pokemon you encounter is Oddish, and if I am not mistaken, Oddish learns Razor Leaf at a fairly early level. And I'm going to switch my Pokemon around here a little bit, get Kakuna to come out first instead of Pikachu. And the problem I see with this is that Razor Leaf actually has a higher PP to it and a higher power. If I remember, Razor Leaf is 50-60 power, and it has about 20 uses.
I believe it's about, I think it's 55 actually, it's right smack in the middle there.
Oh goodness, let's get Kakuna out of there.
Because here we have a type disadvantage, especially because Spearow starts off with a move Peck, which is a power of 35, and is a flying type move. And
Pikachu is about to bite it.
On the bright side, Spearow is now paralyzed due to Pikachu's static.
That's right. Let's not put Mankey out, because it'll probably use Peck and destroy me.
Whereas, although Bulbasaur is a grass type, which then makes it susceptible to the flying type moves as well, Bulbasaur is our strongest one at this point.
Well, no, we have 3 level 12s now.
We do have, that's correct.
We have Pidgey, Mankey, and Bulbasaur, but I kind of want Bulbasaur to get some more experience on him.
And since Spearow is now paralyzed, it has obviously made it easier for Bulbasaur.
Indeed. Kakuna just hit level 8, which is good. And due to the nature of Bulbasaur only having 14 hit points left, we're going to run back and heal. You'll actually probably see a lot of this in the next few episodes leading up to Mount Moon. Just for the simple fact of the number of trainers we're going to be encountering, and the fact that I'm going to try and catch a Jigglypuff so we can solve that mystery. There's just so many trainers and no close Poke Centers that you're probably going to see a lot of me just running back to the Poke Center to heal up so I can continue on my adventure. And as much as that sort of pads out the video and isn't really content, I would argue that it's necessary because it's realistic. If I were actually playing the game, much like I expect many of you are probably doing as you watch this Let's Play review, just sort of to get an idea of what's going on, when you play the game, you're probably going to be running back and forth to the Poke Center a lot too, just by the virtue of needing to have healthy Pokemon.
I agree. When I was first starting out with Pokemon, I died all the time, and although one of the convenient things about Mount Moon is right before the entrance to the cave, there is a Pokemon Center.
That is right.
This is actually where we were talking about buying the Magikarp for 500. This man is in the Pokemon Center just outside.
And as a matter of fact, when we get there, I'm not going to buy it, but I will show you the gentleman who sells the Magikarp. So.
And I can tell you right now, it is not worth 500. Excuse me, not 5,000. If this was the only place you could get a Magikarp for a long time, I would seriously consider getting it. But it sounds like a lot where you have to go to Cerulean.
Sorry, hit the wrong button here.
It sounds like a lot having to go to Cerulean City and defeat a bunch of trainers and then battle the gym just so you can go south to Vermilion City. But in reality, it's really not all that much. No,
it's not that long of a section of the game, especially for you folks who are watching, because I'm going to do a lot of the grinding off screen. I'll probably take on Misty once and lose at my current levels. In my Leaf Green playthrough, excuse me. In my Leaf Green playthrough, I actually ended up having to stop attempting to fight Misty and go off and, in the wild, level up everybody to about 21 before I had a fair chance. And granted, in Leaf Green, I started with Charmander for the challenge. But I had a Pikachu and a Bellsprout, and I had to get them both to 21 before I was even in anywhere near fair standing to take on Misty.